Hey everybody. All right. I think everybody everybody can hear me?
I think
Yep.
so.
All right. I think we're good. All right, perfect. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's on the stream. Good. All right. First time trying this out. So, we are doing things a little bit fancier here. But yeah, I mean, welcome to All the Rage Sports. I'm here with Jesse and Jace as always. What's up with you guys? How was your football weekend?
Great, since I didn't have to watch the Eagles' disappointment, so not too bad.
Yeah, not as great for Jason and I.
Yeah, I'm not wearing the hat if you've noticed.
That's always a sign that it didn't go well if the hat's not on.
Yeah,
Well, I did just get a haircut like an hour before we came on, but
Well, there you go.
that's true. You gotta rep the new cut. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. So I figured we will go over some news and notes to start things off today before we get into matchups and things like that. So we'll fire it off with the news from the Jets this morning.
I think yesterday now,
How
but
are we
It
feeling
was
about that? Or yesterday morning, I
yeah
guess,
yesterday.
but how are we feeling about that? What are we thinking?
Is Aaron Rodgers, is he the GM and owner of the Jets now?
Well, he claims on the Pat McAfee show today that he's appalled that people think that he had something to do with it.
What?
really, I
Because
mean, come on.
Yeah.
him and
Yeah.
Woody Johnson had a meeting like 5 minutes before they had
Yeah.
security escort Salah out of the
Yeah.
building.
Literally. I think I saw somewhere that that's like the first time that someone's been escorted out of the building
Like,
after losing
what
a
was
coaching
Salah's
job.
reaction to getting
Uh,
fired that he needed escorted out of the building? Like, I just
yeah,
can't even imagine.
it's I don't know.
I don't care what he did, but
Tough.
they didn't even escort Adam Gase out. So
Yeah, that's when
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
they should
no,
have
no
packed
matter
Adam
what,
Gase
no
out and
matter what his
threw him.
reaction was or what he did, he was not Adam Gase. So that should have been enough.
Yeah.
I think it just further proves that the Jets are just a complete clown show, and their owner has absolutely no idea what they're doing, and expecting them to continue to have success is just not likely.
Yeah, and there was the little thing that I saw too that they were saying that it seemed like Salah was gonna fire Hackett, and
That was probably the final straw.
within like 5 minutes of him saying that he was going to do that, he was escorted out of the building.
Well, Aaron
Well,
Rodgers
I
said
don't
he's
think
going to
he
fire his
was.
boy.
I
Yeah.
don't think he was firing him. I think he was actually just going to be demoted from play calling, and then yeah, even that was just enough where it's like nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Rogers doesn't like pre-snap motion. He doesn't like this. He
Yeah.
walks outside and clenches his fist and yells at the clouds like the old man he is. And he got his way.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I I just don't know what firing Salah in particular like solves though. He's not even the guy running the offense, and the offense has been the problem with the team. Their defense has been fine. If the
Yeah.
offense could get it together, they would have beat the Vikings last week. And so I just don't understand how promoting the defensive coordinator to head coach is going to make any difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
I
you
personally I don't get it. Like, what are you doing and getting out of this in the long run? Like this is a team that like if they got their shit together on offense could probably I don't know, win the division because the division's up for grabs. Like, what are
Sure
you
is.
doing and when the division is up for grabs just firing your head coach after 5 games when he's not even I don't even think he's the issue. I don't know.
yeah, if the Dolphins maybe looked a little better and they were Tua was still healthy,
Yeah.
maybe you make this move to. But yeah, it's still very much early in the season. It is kind of just it's a head scratcher in so many ways, and it's just hilarious to me that the fucking diva, fucking drama queen that Aaron Rodgers is just like I can't believe that everybody thinks I'm behind this. It's actually pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, no, him on the McAfee show. I didn't personally listen to it, but I saw some of the things that he said. It was like, okay. Yeah, he was just appalled that that people were saying he had anything to do with it. And I was like, okay, dude.
That's just next level delusion on his part, honestly.
Yeah, right.
Well, the worst part is if they win this week, they're in first place in the division. So
Yeah, somehow.
yeah, I know.
And guess what? Teams that switch to an interim coach almost always win. Like the
Oh,
win
they're
percentages
gonna win.
on tape, yeah,
Yeah.
the win percentages on teams that like switch to an interim coach pretty much always win. So
Especially after like the whole disaster with the Bills last week. Like,
yeah, right.
not that the Jets aren't a bigger disaster, but I
Well,
expect
yeah,
the Jets to just win because nothing
Yeah.
makes sense in football. So
yeah, the Jets do play Buffalo this week, so
Yep.
they could very much be in the
Winners in
front of
first
that
place.
division.
Yep.
So
Ain't that pathetic?
Dolphins aren't out of it either. Tua comes back, they could still win the division too. So
yeah, so yeah, so that is a head scratcher on that one. I don't know. I just think it's a completely dysfunctional and useless organization. I mean, it just feels like the dysfunction in the organization is just miles out of what the range should be for dysfunction. Like,
my guess is that everyone's gone next year. I don't think Rodgers is going to be there. I think they're just going to clean house. Joe Douglas is probably going to get fired too. They'll be back to square one like they usually are.
yeah. So, all right, so that's that. We got some new starters around the league here. We got Spencer Rattler coming in for the Saints. Jace is a Rattler fan. His dad's a Rattler fan.
Yeah,
We
for
love the Rattler.
Some
The Junk
insane
Council.
reason. I think Dad just liked saying his name when he would make a big play. But yeah, that was his big plan after we missed out on Michael Penix. He was like, well, we could just get
the
Spencer
Rattler.
in like the 5th. And now, just because he was fucking around, this dude will probably end up being like Mahomes.
Oh yeah.
Something like that.
Yep.
I don't
So
know.
he's
It'll actually be kind of interesting to see him in that.
died. Huh. Okay.
Being able to move around and be a little bit more mobile than Carr. And I mean, they have weapons. I mean, Rashid Shaheed's fucking somehow like a top 5 NFL receiver right now. I'm pretty sure if you just go on yardage. I mean, they've got the pieces, and now it's almost like you're adding like another dimension if he can move around a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, the Saints' problem is their offensive line, though. Like, they've been decimated up front. That's why the Saints looked really good in the first 2 weeks, because whenever they played the Eagles, their offensive linemen started dropping like flies, and now they've been hot garbage every week. So I kind of feel bad. Like, it's not a great situation for Rattler to come in, honestly. Like, if Derek Carr's back there struggling, I don't know how well. What is he, a rookie quarterback, I'm assuming? I'm not sure how well he's going to realistically do.
Well, he's at least got some mobility, so I mean that kind of helps with it.
You're going to need it.
You know, see Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, Fields is able to move around a little bit, and their offensive line's a little bit not great. It helps a lot if you can move. But yeah, we'll see. He is a rookie, so he'll probably, and judging by how aggressive he was in college, he'll either come out and he'll light it up, or he's going to throw like 6 picks in the first half, a la Nathan Peterman.
Yeah.
They are playing the Bucks, I believe, so it's not like the toughest defense
They
in the world,
are
but it's still not great.
Yeah, they are playing the Bucks. And the unfortunate thing is the Bucks could either do nothing and score 13 points, or they'll score 48. Yeah,
There's no in between.
yeah. So, yeah, I mean that's pretty interesting. Some of the other starters we got going on here, we got Drake May finally getting a start. I assume that's because Brissett's hurt, right?
I think they just benched him.
I wasn't sure
I'm not
because
sure.
I don't know if he was actually hurt or if they just benched him.
It would make more sense if he was hurt, because it's only been 5 weeks. Like, if you were going to play him this early in the season, then why didn't they just start him?
I thought Brissett was hurt, but I mean, I could be wrong.
Maybe he is, but the argument for not starting May, like at the beginning of the season, that was because their offensive line was terrible and they didn't want him getting killed back there. But he still has the whole season get killed if they let him play the rest of the year, so it doesn't really make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
If that was their concern initially, it's just like, well, then why didn't you just start him from day one?
Right. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see what he does, but yeah, it's why don't you just start him from the get?
It should make their offense more exciting to watch, which is not asking a lot for the Patriots.
Yeah, it's not a very high bar.
There's at least intrigue there. The Patriots fans will be probably more excited to watch the game.
Yeah.
Not that anyone gives a shit what Patriots fans think,
Right.
but
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. But
yeah, so
Boston
and then
sports,
we
but-
also have Aiden O'Connell starting this week for the Raiders against the Steelers. That should be interesting, I guess.
I'll just leave those thoughts to Jason.
Hang on. I'll be right back.
Oh, no.
I'll tell you what I think, and I just don't think it's going to make any difference.
Yeah, right.
All right.
All
we're
right,
back.
Jason.
I'm back.
Okay.
Hat's back
Okay.
on. We're good. You're wrong. It will make a difference because O'Connell might not be as mobile as Minshew, but he won't look at the top of his fucking shoes when he's pressured. He'll actually try and move up in the pocket and move around and, keep your eyes up and looking downfield instead of clutching the ball with both hands and then immediately just fucking panicking.
That would be a big improvement.
I am done with. Our offensive line has struggled, but you gotta be able to look up and see somebody down the field instead of just immediately feeling pressure, and then just like literally panicking and looking side to side and not even looking for a fucking receiver.
Yeah.
Not saying we're gonna fucking go to the Super Bowl now or anything, but it should be a marked improvement.
And you know how the NFL is. Every time someone makes a quarterback switch, they light it up that week. So the Steelers are in trouble.
Yeah, well, it'll be it'll be great.
Great timing.
The only way we can counteract that is if we for some reason start Russell Wilson, which I personally think
Have
is
they named a
stupid.
starter yet or no?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't looked.
Just for the record, from what I see, Brissett is not hurt. He was benched.
That's what
okay.
I thought.
Well,
which makes it even more confusing to me because, like, in that case, just play him in week 1 and call it a day.
right.
Well, I get it. If Jacoby's going to come out and, be serviceable and show you something the first couple of games, then okay. Then if he's basically not, overachieving by any means, you can go, or underachieving, I guess was a word. You can be like, all right, well, we'll just, stick with this and, we'll just ride it out and see what draft pick we get. But they apparently think they can improve, so.
Well, that's some of the starters that are starting this week. Some of the injuries that have been coming in just over the last couple of days. Nico Collins is on IR all of a sudden. That is going to suck for anybody that has him in fantasy because he's been a big guy for you. I think, obviously, like Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell will reap the benefits of that, but
I didn't look too good without Nico Collins, I can tell you that.
Yeah, so he is on IR due to a hamstring injury, another hammy.
Which, when you hear IR nowadays, isn't as bad as it used to be because now
Right.
it just means 4 games, not your season's done. But
Right.
Hamstrings they're killers and they can linger. Like you can easily re-aggravate that. You better not mess around with it because they should be competitive this year. So
Yeah.
like playoff wise. So
some of the other notable things that happen around the league. The Eagles cut Devin White. They just released him.
that's not
But
notable.
I don't.
Snap.
I don't think that's very notable.
No.
It's only notable in the fact that like he was a high draft pick, like 2 years, like a year or two ago.
Nah, it was a while. It was for the Bucks. It was like he was on their Super Bowl team. The Bucks Super Bowl team.
Okay.
So
I was thinking it wasn't that long ago.
He's been there a couple years.
He was one of those that fell off.
No, we signed him this year, and he never played it down. Like he wasn't even active. Right. I just think someone beat him out, and the Kobe team beat him out, and then he just didn't handle it well. So the coaches just made him a healthy scratch every week. Yeah.
Right.
And now that we need to activate someone off IR, they're like, well, bye. So
right.
That's what that is.
Let's see here. Michael Pittman, as of 3 hours ago, is expected to miss multiple weeks. That just happened. He has a back injury. I didn't notice any of that. Did that happen in the game? I assume.
I would imagine so.
I didn't even
think he ever came
notice
out,
him coming out or anything. So
yeah, I didn't see it, but here, let me.
Yeah, he's out with a back injury for multiple weeks. So you hate to see that. The Colts are gonna have an even harder time getting along, but.
Oh, what's sad is that they did better with Flacco. But...
Yeah. I had listed here to talk about some trade rumors. We have Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper on the list. Really, I don't think anything's really happening with Devontae Adams right now. It's an Ayuk situation that sorry, I have a stink bug flying around me. It's an Ayuk situation that I don't think there's no sense in even paying attention until something actually happens. It's just pointless. It's probably going to go on for a little while. They've been saying since like Sunday night that they want to get a deal done as soon as possible, and here we are Wednesday night and still nothing has happened. So.
When is the Raiders bye week? That feels like a realistic time frame.
Excellent question.
And that is a good question. There's also Amari Cooper that I keep seeing tossed around as a possible trade candidate.
He feels more like at the trade deadline if he does get moved.
Yeah, right. Why not keep him until then? One of the teams I've been hearing a lot about Amari Cooper is to the Cowboys. Wouldn't that be funny?
They do have nobody, but
they don't.
Not until week 10.
Okay, well, I think the trade deadline's before that, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would actually be. I think the trade deadline's November 5th, and
it's usually November.
Yeah. Sunday the 3rd we play the Bengals week 9. So. Yeah, it would be. I don't know. I don't think it's an Ayuk situation because he does not have a no trade clause. So I think we can pretty much. I mean, we're going to pay him this year regardless. I mean, I feel like we're probably just going to wait for a good enough offer, or if he wants to continue to sit out, then he can feel free to do so. And
I think at that point you just take whatever you get for him. I mean, why? I mean, it's not like you guys are. Clearly, at this point, when he's requesting a trade, it's not like he's going to stick around with the team after this year. So just ship him. Whatever the best offer is.
They could get for him, honestly.
Yeah. You don't want to turn this into another fucking Randy Moss, where you paid a little bit. I mean, we didn't pay a ton to get him, but you should at least get something back out of him that's half decent, especially if you're going to ship him off to Buffalo or somewhere where. Not saying we're going to be contenders, but it's an AFC team. So either them or the Jets. I'd say the Saints kind of look unlikely at this point just because Carr is hurt. But
the thing about his value, though, is I just don't know how many years he realistically has left as a quote unquote elite receiver at this point. I believe he's 32,
31,
31. Probably maybe turns 32 this year, but I just don't see him having a ton of value unless we're talking they ship him to the Chiefs and they give you.
I hear the Chiefs are the only people that'll give him a second, but they won't send him to the Chiefs.
I wouldn't. I don't care what the Chiefs offer them. I would not take it. Purely out of spite.
that is the asterisk. The Chiefs could probably, legitimately, offer us maybe even a first, and we'd probably be like, no, we're not.
I would take a 1, but.
Well, that's the thing. It's but if I'm the Chiefs,
it's gonna be basically a second. So yeah.
If I'm the Chiefs, why don't you? You are going on a 3-peat run right now. If I'm the Chiefs, I am throwing everything at every receiver that's even maybe offered right now. If I'm the Chiefs, I give them a 1 for freaking Devontae.
I think they would. If you want my opinion, they're probably in the market for Amari for a second or a third.
Right.
Why overpay for you can get a cheap rental and
There's also
that would just pain me because I had mixed feelings about Amari Cooper's time as a Raider, but Mahomes is going to make anybody look like $1 million, and he's probably easily the most talented receiver that Mahomes has ever had in his career at that point. That would just be kill me.
Yeah. There's also DeAndre Hopkins in the list of possible guys to move, but I mean, that's pretty irrelevant.
Yeah.
I actually feel like Deontay Johnson might be a reasonable trade asset. There's no chance that he's actually going to be on the Panthers next year. So unless they extend him, which why would he want to stay there? Let's be honest. I feel like that would be a receiver that if the Chiefs were smart, they'd target.
Negative Deontay Johnson and Juju Smith-Schuster back. Get the boys back together again.
And all of a sudden, they're both going to look fantastic.
I don't know. Having Andy Dalton thrown to you is a pretty good spot to be in,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, the Chiefs just managed to, I don't know, wheel out the corpses of Juju Smith-Schuster and
make it work.
Kareem Hunt and just light it up. So I don't know.
You're right. Maybe they don't need anybody, I guess.
Yeah, maybe they don't. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, unless you're getting something decent, why would anybody in this league fucking trade with them? I would be like,
no way.
Right.
I mean, I would do this anyways.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Okay, so is there anything else you guys wanted to touch on news-wise around the league? Anything anything I missed?
Really, just the fact that Josh Allen was clearly,
yeah, right.
A complete corpse and was literally like
knocked out on the field.
Yeah, doing like the fucking throwing up crypt fucking blood signs with his hands, and
they literally gave him smelling salts on the. Did you see that? They put him off to the sidelines and gave him smelling salts, and then put him back in and called it a chest injury.
He missed a play. I don't think he missed a play.
No, maybe he didn't. He either missed one play or none.
They punted, and then he came back in on the next drive. I could be wrong, but
no.
I feel like Trubisky maybe attempted one pass and then
maybe
back on the sideline.
Yeah, so they just put him on the sideline, gave him smelling salts, and then called it a chest injury, and went about their day. I don't know about you, but I've never heard of smelling salts for chest injuries. Sure.
Okay. I just don't know, like, who they're supposed to have this independent neurologist or whatever up in the booth. Like,
yeah,
did that guy like was he about to radio down to the sideline and the Bills are paying somebody? He walks up behind him and whispers in his ear like, "Hey, I wouldn't do that. We've got your wife and kids."
Yeah,
like.
Yeah,
at least that would make sense. Yeah.
Vegas is in their pocket.
Comprehend how us as just normal, nobodies look at that, and we're like, yeah, he's concussed, and people who are supposed to be experts are just like, oh,
he was literally knocked out on the field. You could see he was lifeless when he's like rolling around. Like, my God, it was terrible.
Yeah, it was. So look for I don't know, suspensions and fines to come with that, but it'll probably be after the season. So.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything
else. He must
have
passed concussion protocol. Yeah. Like he had to, because I'm pretty sure he's not in concussion protocol currently, so he must be okay. But it just didn't look like it.
Yeah, he memorized the answers.
Right. He memorized the answers.
Yeah, they literally went, "How many fingers are holding up?" Like, all right, you're good.
Yeah. So I don't know. That is one for the league to question, although I don't know that they will. I don't know.
Right.
Okay, some matchups that happened over the last week. Last Sunday. And we can even go to the Thursday night game last week if you guys wanted to touch on that. Let me get to my stats here so I can see what's going on. What do we got here? Games to highlight from last week. I have the Browns and Commanders. So, what did you guys think about that game? That was
either the Commanders are legit or the Browns are the worst team in football, and I'm not sure which one it is. It could be a little of both.
I think it's a little of both. It's a lot of the Browns being shit.
Yeah, I kind of problem. Yeah, that's kind of what I think, but I'm also worried the Browns are just going to come out and like light my defense up this week for some reason, but
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is him, and Deshaun Watson is ass cheese.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson had a QB rating of 8.6.
Woo!
8. That is a singular 8.6 QBR.
Fully guaranteed contract, baby.
It is the second time this season that he's had a single-digit QBR. Twice this season he has had a single-digit QBR.
How the hell are they starting him this week? I don't understand.
He's had more allegations than touchdowns since he got to Cleveland.
Literally.
And yet, like, there's no way that Jameis Winston doesn't give them a better chance to win. Like, there's just no way. He's the dude out there motivating them on the field before the damn game.
Yeah.
That's
It
what I
should
do.
be his
I'm
team.
sure
I
it's an
don't know.
ownership thing or something, like maybe the GM telling Stefanski that he has to play him. That I wouldn't be surprised, because at this point, what else even makes sense? It's certainly not his play on the field, keeping him on the field. So
yeah. So that I don't know. The Browns just look terrible. It's Browns gonna Brown. I don't know. This is not a surprising thing to me.
I just don't think there's any way they can try him out there for the rest of the season. At some point, they're gonna have to pull the plug, and I feel like the sooner they do, the better. Like I get, just take the L at this point.
It's incredible to me that they're even like, he hasn't just said, "Oh, I have an injury again." You know, like that's what he did all the last like 2 years basically. He's just like,
Give him
"Ow,
time.
my shoulder," and then he just sat on this. He literally didn't even sit on the sidelines. Like he just like didn't even go to games last year, like with his shoulder injury.
Well, with his contract, it don't matter if he plays or not. His game
Yeah,
check's
literally
still gonna
doesn't
be
mean
there.
shit. Doesn't mean shit. You are not wrong.
Well, I think he hasn't faked an injury because I don't think there's a masseuse in the God's green earth anymore that
wants to touch
hard
him,
to
man.
get physical therapy for anything. So there's a theory. Maybe he's playing injured because now they can't find anybody.
They can't find anyone to help him out.
Yeah, even tape his ankle, let alone give him a rub down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Oh, Christ. Yeah, that was a terrible performance by him, and I expect to see more, I guess. Everybody wants to say that it's the Browns' offensive line, but the reality is that like the offensive line is a little bit of a problem for them, but like I think Amari Cooper had like 14 targets or something, 5 of which were even catchable. 5 of the targets to Amari Cooper were catchable. It's like, I mean, come on, man. Like, get it together. I don't know. That's just,
I've just never seen anyone that's like lost it this quickly. Like, I get that he didn't play football for like a year, but how do you just go from what he was to what he is now? I just don't understand. Especially without like a significant injury. That's usually why. But now it's just time off, and he gets his guaranteed contract, and all of a sudden he can't play anymore. I just don't get it.
I think it's just. I think there's something to be said for, and it's not like he deserves any sympathy for this, but the mental toll that not knowing if he was going to play football again, and dealing with all that legal shit on the side, that shit, for normal people, that will affect your work, performance. If you've got a fucking 9 to 5 in a cubicle, you have to go out and play in front of 30,000 people every Sunday and perform. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like you said, doesn't have an injury or anything to blame. So what is it?
So I just wanted to show this. This is the dead money. If they were to cut him pre-June 1st, it is only $200 million in dead money.
Oh, is that it?
Wow.
Because they backloaded his contract so bad so they could field a team in general, I think. Yeah, the cap savings would be a negative of $172 million. If they would lose $172 million off their cap if they cut him.
I don't know what their solution is. I really don't.
And that's just 2024 is 200 million is the dead money cap. If they waited till 2025, well, they get some savings and they lose 172 million in dead money. I think it's like not just is it the worst trade in football. Like this may be like the worst trade in all of sports. I think at this point, like I think just in general, this is like this has to be like pretty much the worst thing that's ever happened. Like a team has ever done. Worst deal.
And like Jesse said, it's just the Browns are fucking cursed. Like this guy looked like he was just a fucking perennial Pro Bowler and just an absolute. He was. People forget that he was looking probably just as good, if not better, than C.J. Stroud, with a lot less around him when he was, in his little bit of a prime he had there. And the Browns go all in thinking that's what they're getting, and this dude just looks like shit.
Yeah.
And it's inexplicable. There's no reason. Rhyme or reason. I mean, there is a reason, but we'll never know.
But it's not like the Browns were the only team interested in it. There were plenty of teams that were trying to trade for him. The only reason he went to Cleveland, though, is because they offered him the guaranteed contract. Because
Yeah.
why would you want to go to Cleveland, which, I mean,
Yeah.
let's be honest, they haven't been the best franchise over the past, 15 years. So
Yeah. Over the past forever.
I just love that even if he does not play for the team in 2028, they still owe him $8 million.
$9 million almost. Yeah.
$9 million in dead money
Yeah.
that he's not technically on the cap, but it goes against the cap.
Well, this is what happens. I mean, they were so worried about even fielding it. Like I just don't understand. I don't understand what this team was doing. In 2022, the cap hit for him was $9 million. 2023, $19 million. 2024 even is $28 million. And then it jumps to $72 million for the next 2 years. Like, what an absolute fucking disaster.
But whenever they wrote out that contract, they were expecting him to actually be good. They thought they were getting the guy they traded for. So this contract wouldn't have looked that bad.
Yeah.
Because a lot of quarterback contracts are backloaded like this because you can just add years on and it cuts the amount.
It's just funny to me that he's so ass and he's just. I mean, if they could just cut him and take the dead money hit this year of $200 million. What an absolute joke. That's so funny to me. But anyways, we had more matchups to look at. So let me get back to what I was doing here. The Baltimore and Cincinnati game. That was Cincinnati getting screwed out of a win. I think. Well, they
screwed themselves.
Yeah, they screwed themselves.
Made the field goal and they win. I couldn't believe they lost.
McPherson.
Yeah, right.
Like the Ravens literally handed it straight to him. Lamar fumbled. It was either a bad snap or Lamar just fumbled the snap and recovered it basically in field goal range already. Mm-hmm. But the Bengals didn't even try either, though. Like, they ran it 3 straight times, I believe. Didn't even attempt to pick up a first down.
Yeah, they were like, no, this is like a 48-yarder easy.
You've been shredding them the entire game, and you're not even going to try? You're just going to play it that safe?
Yeah, and that's what you get for playing it that safe. I mean, it was a terrible.
When you miss
the ending of that game
was
horrible.
Get the ball right there.
Yeah.
Or no, it went to overtime, I believe. Did it go to overtime? I don't even remember.
Did that game go to overtime?
It did.
There was like 2 or 3 that went to overtime.
So they missed the field goal, and that's what sent it to overtime.
Yeah, and then they were supposed to win off that field goal by a point, I think. But yeah, the final on that was 41-38. So, and I think they both had a possession in overtime too, and because Baltimore won by a field goal. So
I
almost
both
had
if
a
they
possession.
missed that field goal in overtime. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think
they did because Lamar fumbled and then they went down and missed that.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
Right.
Brutal lot. Like the Bengals needed that way more. Now they're 1-4. Like it's getting hard to recover at that point.
Yeah, the Steelers could have used that too. Personally, a Ravens loss there would have been great for us. But we move on. That was a shitty game. I don't know. Like Cincinnati had that in their pocket.
Game. Like,
it was a great game, but shitty outcome. I think.
Like both
I feel like Cincinnati should have won.
Playing out of their minds, but I'm not sure if that says more about how bad the defenses are on both these teams. Like there was absolutely zero defense played on either side. So it's really I get that everyone wants to crown the Ravens now, but I'm just I'm sorry. Good luck beating the Chiefs with that defense. Mahomes will just come out there with Juju and just destroy you somehow.
Yeah,
so
literally. Yeah, so not sure how far the Ravens are actually going to go. It's hard to say. The next matchup I had was a Buffalo and the Texans. Buffalo, once again, looks like shit against a half-decent team.
I think them having no receivers has finally showed up a lot. Shakir was out, and then there was just nobody else. They were trying Curtis Samuel out there, Dalton Kincaid, which is a tight end, but I can't even name another one.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, their rookie, the Keon Coleman, and that's about it, I think. I don't think they really have anybody else at this point.
Well,
Now
what's
that
crazy
Shakira's
is that
out.
the Texans were blowing them out until Nico Collins got hurt, and then all of a sudden the Texans couldn't move the football anymore, and that's how the
Yeah.
Bills even got back into the game.
Right.
And
Yeah.
honestly, they still had a chance to win the damn game, but for some reason,
Oh my god,
Sean
that was
McDermott
such.
decided to Hail Mary it 3 straight times in their own end.
Oh my god, they're on like the
what
3-yard line.
Mhm.
They could just go to overtime.
And instead, he's just like, "Nah, we got to." Especially after Josh Allen basically died on the field.
Yeah,
They're
and
gonna
then they
trot
have
him
to
back
punt.
out there.
They have to
Yep.
punt out of the end zone. Like, what are you thinking?
They
That was
returned
the
it and were basically in
stupidest.
field goal
Yeah,
range.
yeah. They got it. The Texans got the ball like basically in field goal range, and it was just getting yards to make it an easier chip shot. And oh, it was such. I mean, the Bills literally could have kneeled on that ball and just gone to overtime. They were on their own like 2-yard line.
Yeah, I remember screaming when we were watching the game, like
Yeah.
literally take a knee, bro. Take a knee.
Yeah,
Go to
what are you
overtime
doing?
because you're in a terrible spot. Get out of here before you mess up and make a mistake.
That was a disaster.
And they did make the
at end of
mistake,
game.
but unfortunately by punting, that was the mistake.
Yeah. Well, they left like 30, 40 seconds on the clock somehow.
That's
Because they kept
threw
throwing the
football.
ball.
Yeah. You
They didn't even run.
Yep. Just
You
accept
run
that
the
you're
ball
going to
once,
overtime.
and then you're going to overtime. But instead, they throw the ball 3 times. They use no time off the clock, give it back to the Texans at like their own 45-yard line. It was a disaster. That was just I mean, you almost feel bad for the Bills players in that one because like that was just the coach. Like that was just what was that coach thinking? You know, like
No, I know. I can't help but feel like a lot of it though is like people fear overtime because unfortunately it's still whoever wins the coin toss is probably going to win because for some reason we still don't give both teams a chance to score. And I'll never understand it. Like literally just make it so both teams get the ball. That way the coin toss doesn't drastically increase your chances of winning.
Yeah. Right.
And I would fear that too. So
yeah.
And the Bills of all teams should fear that because that's what made them lose the damn Chiefs game in the playoffs all them years ago.
Right.
So they're the ones that are scarred from it the most.
Right. Just wild to me.
Basically why he was like, "Yep, we're not going through this again."
Yeah, that's
Well,
it was like they had like 50 seconds on the clock, and they're you're gonna get 98 yards. Like what? Like that was. I could see if they were like maybe a little further down the field, giving it a shot on some pass plays, but like, come on, dude. Like, I mean, I just don't think there's any excuse for that. That was terrible. The next game I have here is the Cardinals and the Niners. That last week we mentioned having the 7.5 point spread in favor of the Niners, and I think we all scoffed at that because it was ridiculous, and we were all right because guess what? The Cardinals won.
Right.
24-23.
Yeah. I mean, division, like, anytime you see a spread that big in a division game, especially, like, forget it.
Yeah.
Like, the Niners aren't what people think they are. Everyone sees, like, the 49er logo, and they think they're this powerhouse this year. But they're not. Like, the Cardinals were always going to be competitive in that game. I'm not at all surprised that they won.
Yeah, the Cardinals were fantastic in that game. I think they did decent. Kyler Murray looked good. Right off the bat, there's that replay of him. He like gets to the second level and he just like throws up the peace sign at like the 45-yard line. He knew he scored on like the 45. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, their defense looked good, and yeah, I'm so mad that we talked about how silly that spread was, and I did not bet it at all.
Yeah, I should have just put the life savings on it because that was a crazy. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking with that. Vegas just wanted to lose money on that, I guess. I don't know.
That was an absolute mortal lock. Well, that's one of those ones where they think, oh, we'll catch some suckers, and then 9 times out of 10 that works for the house. So that one they paid back.
Yeah, right. So I mean, I don't know that there's a ton to talk about with that one. Obviously,
I would just credit the Cardinals defense in like the second half because I'm pretty sure they shut them out in the second half.
Yeah,
if not
they did.
Shut them out, then maybe they kicked a field goal. But I guess didn't they? Yeah, Jake Moody got hurt in that game.
Yeah,
also,
yeah, Moody's out for a while.
Field goals. Was that game or was that the week before?
No, it was this week. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he got hurt. and I'm pretty sure they shut him out in the second half. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's just good. Like that's just great adjustments by Jonathan Gannon, honestly.
Yeah.
Yep. 0 points in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like that's impressive because they came out like after the Cardinals scored their initial touchdown, like that Kyler Murray long run. The 49ers like came back, like they were up 10 points at one point in that game. Then the second half hits and they pretty much just fell apart.
And please don't gasp, but your boy threw 2 picks, including one that sealed the game, I believe.
Well, I mean, this is just not surprising. So, this is just what I expected.
I know. I said, put your surprise face on, try not to fall over. But yeah. Yeah. 19 for 35 for 244, a tutty, and 2 picks. Elite.
That's what I hear.
Elite.
Guess he just needs McCaffrey that badly.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, losing McCaffrey hurts anybody, but yeah, this guy.
It does, but he is a running back still. It's just like he still has everybody else out there. Like, at what point,
Yeah.
You got to make some plays.
I mean, they're pretty much healthy again now. I mean,
everyone was out there, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know their defense is pretty banged up, but that's not deciding whether or not Purdy throws turnovers or not.
Yeah.
He had a couple bad picks.
Yeah, he's getting exposed badly.
He is, for sure. This is like pretty much what I've been screaming like the entire time he's been their starter. It's like, yeah, sure, everything looks great when everything's perfect around him. But once things aren't perfect around him, you're kind of going to see that he's more of a middle-of-the-pack quarterback.
Yeah. Agreed. Hate Purdy. I also think he's terrible. We had the Giants in Seattle. This is an interesting one.
Is it? I don't have a good what happened, honestly.
Guess what? Seattle lost quite handily.
Like a couple weeks ago when we were talking about the Seahawks and being 3-0, I'm just like, well, this is fraudulent because they've played literally nobody.
Yeah.
And this is
what happens. It was funny because I think when we were talking about that, I was going through their schedule and I was like, oh, they got the Niners, they have the Jets, the Cardinals, they have like this whole their schedule coming up. I was like, oh, they're about to go through the gauntlet. So we'll find out real quick. But I guess we just found out when they played the Giants. So we already know.
It's
pretty don't expect a good.
The way this year's been, they could lose to the Giants and then go through the hard stretch of their schedule and only lose like one more game out of it.
Oh, yeah. Would either of you be surprised if they beat the 49ers tomorrow? Because I wouldn't be.
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
I know who I'm putting my money on.
Yeah, right. Agreed. Then the only one I had to highlight from last week left on that list was the Dallas Cowboys and
before we move on, maybe the Giants aren't like the worst team in football this year, which is a major plus for them because usually they are.
Daniel Jones has been looking a little bit better. He's a little sharper.
Yeah, they didn't have Malik Neighbors out there or Devin Singletary. I didn't know who the hell he was throwing. Darius Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson, and that was just enough.
Yeah.
No, I think a lot of it, I was reading a couple of things, and just like everybody was pretty quick to shit on Dable, and rightfully so, for some of the decisions he's made, over his tenure. But if you look at the way they've been coached this year, like they are just doing a tremendous job of, okay, these are the guys we have. Instead of trying to fit guys into the scheme, let's scheme for the guys that we have on the roster. And they're doing a very good job of playing to guys' strengths instead of trying to fit them into a box or a mold, I guess is a way to put it. So yeah, there's good coaching. I mean, can take a team that's very, could be fucking, top 3 draft picks to, middle of the pack, and would have said up until the Steelers-Cowboys game this week, they might have, been contending with Dallas, but
yeah, that is the next one on the list. An unfortunate one.
If you like that segue, you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. One, it sucked to have to be up until 1 o'clock in the morning to watch the ending of that fucking game. That was terrible. Not to mention, when a game gets, you're so, you're ready for it on Sunday, and you're just, you're pumped, and then, it's delayed, like, fucking an hour and a half. It's just like all my hype just out the window because I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs for another hour, and I know I'm going to be up till 1 o'clock in the morning. I was hoping it was a blowout either way, just so I could go
That
to
way
bed.
you could just walk away.
Yeah, I was hoping that it was like 28-0 by one team or the other by halftime, so I just go to bed.
Unfortunately, it came down to the literal last play.
Unfortunately, it did.
It worked out clutch for me because as soon as I think it was like 7:15ish, they had already announced like over like it was going to be like an hour past kickoff delay, so they were already looking at like 9:20, 9:30. So I said, "Fuck it!" I jumped on my couch and just shut my eyes, and it was so crazy because I can't remember exactly, but I think I woke up at like 11:30 or midnight and looked, and they were just going to the halftime show, and I was like, "Oh my fucking Christ!"
It was Bruno. I was falling asleep too. It was bad.
Yeah.
But that was so clutch because I watched the entire second half, and then as soon as Dak threw that touchdown, I was just like, "All right," shut my TV off and went to bed. And
Yeah.
I unfortunately think I got a light touch of food poisoning, but that was unrelated. I slept great until that happened.
Yeah, I mean, with this game, it's pretty. I don't know. This was I think that one of the bigger takeaways that I've seen from this is just the lack of participation from our number one wide receiver, George Pickens. He played 59% of snaps, and the snaps that he did play were, I mean, just insane. Like, here's Pickens here. Watch as he comes over the field
watch
here.
the tape, Jim.
Now Fields throws the ball to a guy that's running a guy that would be running full speed, right? Look at him. He's literally not even trying. Fields throws this ball perfectly if he's running. He just stops running. Like,
yeah,
what?
This doesn't look like he's putting full effort into
Literally.
routes.
And it's like, I mean, and there are multiple.
Did you see the one where he like
this.
runs like a hitch and doesn't come back the whole way, and in the corner you can literally see fucking Tomlin like throw up his hands and like lose his shit?
Yeah, let me get to.
They should bench his ass for that. Like, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I get that they have.
Yeah,
no one
this
else,
right
but
here. This is, this is a shovel pass to Freiermuth in the middle. And this is like his effort on this play.
Well, I mean, look at it. I mean, the guy that's covering Calvin Austin bites, and Trayvon Diggs literally puts one eye on Pickens, knows what's happening.
It knows that he's just not going to do anything.
Yeah.
I do know I have one more of those in here that is pretty bad. Let me find it. Here it is. Yeah, this one. This is really something here. Look at that effort. Wow. I mean, when you have players playing like this and he's our top receiver, like what is our offense supposed to be? No wonder we were running the ball 8 times in a row when this is what our number one receiver is doing. They were literally doubling other people because Pickens wasn't even running full speed.
Yeah, that one's really bad.
I mean, like, come on. This is like literally, it's like a flashback to Deontay Johnson or Chase Claypool.
Yeah, Tomlin fucking.
It's, yeah. Essentially, people are thinking that he was losing snap count because Tomlin is trying to punish him for some sort of attitude issue that he might be having, which is pretty obvious, let's be real. So clear, and then he also refused to talk to reporters after the game. At the end of the game, he just like grabbed a guy by the face mask and threw him into the ground.
I remember that shit was bad. I forget who the corner was, but he called him out on Twitter.
Yeah, he did. There was a video of him walking back into the locker room, and he's just like, Steelers need to get a new receiver because George Pickens soft, and it was the dude that he threw into the ground.
And
I mean, these
George
are just
Pickens
terrible.
is probably losing sleep over that comment. So
yeah, he ran a career low 20 routes during that game.
Yikes. I'll be
mean,
interested to see what they do with him this week.
Well, I'd say he trotted 15 of them.
yeah. Well, he didn't run that many.
He ran about 2 of them, maybe.
I know. I saw that side.
This one gets me. Yeah, no, but
what did Josh Allen do to him? Come on now, let's be honest.
Yeah, no, it is just unfortunate to see stuff like this, especially when Fields puts that ball in the perfect spot if the guy is running. Like, I mean, that ball is placed perfectly. If Pickens look, he literally slows down. He waves for the ball and slows down. It's like,
and the crazy thing is, like in this game, like I get that if the score was close, but it shouldn't have been. Like if you look at the total yardage in this game, the Cowboys literally dominated the game. Like how it wasn't a blowout, it's because Dak kept throwing interceptions. That was the only reason it was close.
That we have a defense. And how about at the very end of the game when the Cowboys were on the 1-yard line and they were trying to run it in and stuff it in, and our guy goes over top of them, knocks the ball out with like the most perfect spear punch to knock that ball out, and that would have been what everybody was talking about this week had we recovered it.
It wasn't even a punch. He was so lucky. He put his helmet on the ball, and Dowdle was like falling. Landon Roberts comes this way, and Rico Dowdle is like falling back the other direction, and his helmet hit the ball like this way.
Yeah.
Like he timed it perfectly, and then I was so pissed. I'm like, I can't believe I stayed up. The Cowboys dominated this game in every facet. They should have punched it in, and the Steelers just fucking squeak one out. I was like, they can't. There's no team that wins uglier and just wins shittier and just does it all the time than fucking Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they just didn't get away with it that week, though.
I felt like fucking Jesse in Breaking Bad. Like, they can't keep getting away with this. Like,
right.
Just absolutely insane.
Yeah, so I don't know. That was it was an interesting, like, I don't know, it was a weird game. I felt like it was a game that we absolutely needed to win. There's something, when we lose to the Colts, it's like, okay, early in the season we're losing to the Colts because that's for the Steelers. We just lose games against bad teams. That's fine.
Which makes me nervous for you guys playing the Raiders this week.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Are you calling the Raiders a bad team or what? Oh, the shade.
What the fuck is that code?
Those words didn't come. I was gonna say those words didn't come out of my mouth, bro.
You're supposed to be my ally on this show, you son of a bitch.
I told you I'm already picking the Raiders, so I am your ally now.
All right. Well, okay. Maybe not throw the shot there.
Oh my!
And a shout out to what's up to Brazil?
Oh, there's
to Brazil.
Yeah. There is Brazil. We have our our token Brazilian in the chat.
Yeah.
Mateus. In case you didn't know, Jesse, Mateus was a foreign exchange student that stayed with Jace's family through high school.
Okay, that would make more sense. How do you know someone from Brazil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be it.
So that was who was giving us the live reporting from the Eagles and Packers.
Yeah.
That's who I got like the inside scoop on like the gang shit and everything. Yeah.
All right.
Only the best reporting on all the rage.
I think
fuck you, Adam Schefter.
The next thing to go over is going to be a look into next week's matchups. Unless there was another matchup that you guys wanted to bring up from last week that you wanted to mention. I mean,
I think you got the important ones.
I think those are the big ones.
Yeah,
so.
Bo Nix threw for -3 yards, and the Raiders still lost because Minshew sucks. But we'll gloss over. No need to dwell.
Let's see. What did I have here? Okay, the Niners in Seattle play on Thursday. We kind of touched on that already. I think that Seattle very much is going to win that game somehow. I say somehow, but I just don't think that the Niners are that good. So they're a shell of what they were when they were in the Super Bowl.
Banged up on defense, and that's that along with no McCaffrey. the wheels are really starting to fall off the Brock Purdy hype train that everybody appeared to be on, especially you two. Like, I'm devastated for you guys.
Yeah.
How much you
Just
guys
breathing
love
life into me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were just the biggest Purdy believers in the world. But
yeah, right.
I would probably, depending on what the money line is, I would consider taking Seattle, especially.
The money line is -3. Well, the spread is -3.5.
So it's
not sure what the money line is, but it shouldn't be that crazy.
I would feel a lot better about Seattle if they just didn't lose to the Giants last week. Like, both teams lost, so no one can use that excuse this week. So I don't know. Like, this is one that could definitely go either way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it seems like I'm not gonna kind of like the Colts game with the Steelers, and I know they just lost to the Cowboys, but it just feels like teams are very much playing their competition this year. So I'm not so quick to write the Seahawks off, and I have a lot more faith in them to rebound than I do. I wasn't a Brock Purdy truther, but the more and more I see of him this year is just my confidence that I had in him, any that I might have had, is just waning very quickly. And just,
welcome aboard.
Yeah, welcome to the
Purdy
haters club. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll jump right on the hater train there.
Which means he's gonna come out and throw for like 400 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Probably. That's usually what happens anytime I talk shit. So.
Yeah.
I will pick the 49ers, but as always, I hope they lose.
I will pick Seattle in this one. I just think I think they have a chance. Yeah.
Sea chickens.
Yeah.
Next notable matchup that I have here is Tampa and the Saints. The Rattler. This was a lot more interesting until
I was gonna say maybe
Derek
not as
Carr
notable
was
now.
out. So yeah, maybe not as notable now. Obviously, Tampa should probably win this. I mean, it's not in Tampa, is it?
Nah, it's in New Orleans.
I was gonna say that could be a problem.
Yeah, I don't think.
Considering Tampa's probably just not going to be there by tomorrow.
I was going to say I don't think Tampa's going to have a stadium left.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to disagree with you. I think this game is going to be pretty interesting. Seems like if you get a rookie quarterback, a la Brock Purdy, with any decent amount of talent around them, and not a lot of game tape on them as far as in the pros, they usually come out and play at least 3 or 4 games and kind of like, for lack of a better term, almost like have like remember Jeremy Lin had his little insanity run for, how long, like 6 games with the Knicks in like 2017 or whatever, and he was averaging like 50 a game. It's one of those deals where he'll just come out, and I think he's got enough talent around him. He should, as long as he doesn't just throw a million fucking interceptions, he should be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect out of the Saints offense because they haven't been good with Derek Carr the past couple of weeks. So I just don't know how it's going to get better with a guy who's never played before. That's where I'm at on that. And I just feel like Baker is just like having a great season. Like they probably shouldn't have lost to the Falcons last week, but somehow Kirk Cousins threw for like 500 yards and they squeaked that out. I still don't know how, but I don't know. I just think Tampa has way too much on offense for them to keep up. I don't feel like the Saints defense is like good enough. Like, they're not a bad defense, but I don't feel like they're going to be able to. Well, they'll slow down Mike Evans because him and Marshawn Lattimore will probably not.
Yeah, they'll probably just both be ejected.
Yeah, so I would expect more of a Godwin game from the Buccaneers standpoint, but no, I don't know. I feel like the Bucs probably should win by a couple of scores, but division game, it'll probably be closer than it should be.
I'm going to take the Saints, but also, did you see that? I didn't know that he was still in the league, but fucking Sterling Shepard is like the Buccaneers' 4th receiver.
Yep,
he's scoring touchdowns too.
He's scoring them at least on the Eagles, I think, right?
Well, he doesn't. So.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Like, I didn't even know that he was like. I didn't hear his name against the Eagles, and then last week I'm just like, what the fuck happened? Like, where did he come from?
Yeah, he's just like their 3rd or 4th receiver, and he's just out there thriving, I guess, with Baker. Yeah. So, I mean, give him credit. He's not on the Giants anymore, so.
Yeah. And after Cousins threw for 400 yards, I was just picturing him at fucking some strip club in Atlanta, like just chains, grilling, everything, just living it up.
He was getting everybody to do the swag surf, so.
Yeah.
I'm
does
just not sure
have-
that Kirk Cousins has enough swag to be getting the
No.
crowd to be
Yeah,
doing the fucking swag
he
surf.
doesn't.
Like,
He doesn't.
I don't know. Atlanta
but
has
that's part of the.
But when
bit,
you
though.
go out and you throw for like 400 and
No,
some
he had
yards or
500,
500
he had
yards,
500 yards. Yeah.
yeah. When you go out and throw for that, I mean, I guess that just by default
Talk your
you
shit
can
and
do
do
that.
what you want.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
I mean, if you're quarterback for the Falcons, I mean, they rallied behind Matt Ryan for how many years?
That is true.
You can be like the most generic white dude ever, and Atlanta will just fuck with you if you can win
Accept
some
you
games.
with open arms. Yeah.
Yeah, just win some games for them, and you're invited to the cookout.
Let's see. The spread on that game is Tampa Bay minus 3.5, and I'm going to go with that. I'll roll with that line. I'll roll with Tampa on that one.
Same.
Jake's taking the Saints.
Well, I didn't know we were picking against the fucking spread, but
I'm just mentioning it. But
okay. Yeah, Bucks straight or Saints.
I will take Tampa Bay. The next game, once again, Arizona is getting disrespected by Vegas with their spread. We have Arizona and the Packers, and the spread is Green Bay minus 5. Like, did we learn nothing last week?
Where's it
at? Green Bay.
It is.
What's the temperature at kickoff?
That is a fantastic thing to look into because the Cardinals aren't generally the best cold weather outdoor. Not that it's that cold yet, but
yeah. Well, Kyler Murray historically does not play good in chillier climates. If memory serves correctly.
Oh, let's see. On Sunday, it's looking at Lambeau Field, rainy, high of 53, low of 36.
Okay, so.
Packers by a billion.
I just can't. I don't know. I'm really surprised at the spreads that Vegas has been giving Arizona.
It's not as bad as last week because I feel
and
like
this
the
isn't
Packers
as bad, but
are better than the 49ers personally. So
yeah, I still feel like this should be one of those like 3.5, 2.5 lines. It's pretty crazy to me, but I'm trying to think of who I'd pick here. I think I will go Arizona on this one. I think. I just think that they're on a roll right now. I think they were looking good. I understand that the Niners aren't the best team, but I mean, Niners have a little bit of a chopped up defense and all that, but still, I think that Arizona can pull out a win there. But we'll see.
Oh, they definitely could. I just feel like the Packers probably have. Well, I think they have the better coach, so they're going to be better coach team. They're going to be more prepared for the elements. I kind of feel like maybe this is the week that Josh Jacobs scores a touchdown. Has he scored a touchdown yet? I'm not sure that he has.
I think he did last week.
Did he? Because I know he was not. He was without a touchdown for a while. But
I think he did last week. I'm pretty sure.
Packers win, Cardinals cover.
All right. Yeah. I agree with that. I can hear you on that one. Let's see what I had for the next one. Commanders and Ravens. Now this is going to be an interesting game. This should be a good game. Unfortunately, it's a 1:00 game. Like these great games just end up being 1:00 games.
I read a couple. It was either a week ago or 2 weeks ago. They wanted to flex the Giants and Bengals out of Sunday Night Football because honestly, who wants to watch that anyway? They were trying to put the Ravens in Washington on Sunday Night Football, but the networks wouldn't let them.
I'd like to watch the Bengals and Giants because I just want to see how the Bengals will fuck that up and lose it. I mean,
yeah, that's fair. But would you rather watch Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson on Sunday night that compared to that game? Probably, and that was the argument for it. But whoever, I imagine CBS or Fox, whoever has the game, they were not letting it up. So
CBS that has Washington and Baltimore.
Yeah.
What do you think without peeking? What do you think the spread for this game is? If you had to guess somewhere, what do you think would they put it at?
Baltimore by 4.5.
I bet it's higher than you think. I almost want to say 6.
It's Baltimore by 6.5.
Yep.
Wow.
I was gonna say I think it'll be more than you think.
I thought
Yeah.
that might have been like a trick question. That's why I went a little bit
Yeah.
lower, but I had a feeling it was going to be something like that.
Nope. It is Baltimore by 6.5.
I think that just
Um,
makes you think that Vegas like isn't sure what to think of Washington at this point, which I get, but
yeah. I think
this is
that's
definitely
more of
going
it.
to be their are they good team. Like if they get killed in this game, then clearly they've been
Yeah.
completely overhyped.
Yeah.
Not to discredit anything that they've done already, because they're
Yeah.
a hell of a lot more competent than what they usually are.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. The NFC East is shaping up to be a bit of a competitive division here.
for now, I guess, yeah.
Could be.
Oh, I could be,
Um,
unfortunately.
Yeah, so I think I take Baltimore here, but I very much feel like Washington can win that. As long as,
I
like
kind
you
of feel
said, like
like
there is, if they are the good team, if they are a good team, they should win that.
this is either going to be like a really good game or the wheels are going to fall off for Washington, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure which one it is.
Yeah, right.
Like this could be Derrick Henry has like 200 rushing yards written all over it, or it's going to be a
Yeah,
shootout. So I don't know. I definitely I love the like I don't see any way the Ravens lose this game personally. I just feel
yeah.
like this is probably going to be the Washington's just going to come back down to earth. I think they've won 3 straight, or maybe even 4 straight. 'Cause they lost
They're
week
4
1.
and
Yeah,
1. Yeah,
yeah. So they've won 4 games in a row. So and then they're heading into Baltimore.
yeah,
Ravens are coming high off that win last week. I think that there's a good chance that the Ravens just kind of run all over them.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it ends up being. I think Derrick Henry has a big game, and I think Jaden Daniels probably looks good, and it's going to be a high scoring affair. But I think Washington probably plays from behind for a lot of this game.
Well, that's the thing is one of the things that we noticed when the Ravens were playing the Bengals is that the Ravens have no defense.
Oh, neither does Washington.
But
That's the
neither
thing.
does Washington.
Yeah.
So it's either a shootout or, if Washington's offense can't keep up, then
Well, actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm taking the Commanders.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
What
respect
is
it.
the over under in this game? Like, it's probably pretty ridiculous.
That is a good question. Let me look.
And because everyone's like talking so much shit on these defenses, this game's going to be like 16-10 or something. Whatever, it doesn't make sense. Justin Tucker is going to all of a sudden be able to make field goals again, and
The over under on this is 51.5. So they're looking at both teams scoring around.
in the 20s.
Yeah, and it probably I would say that what the implied point total there's like the Commanders 20, Ravens 20, 31 maybe, something like that, with the spread or something like that. I don't know. I can't do the math in my head, but something along those lines. They're looking at the Commanders getting like 20 some points, and then the Ravens pushing 30. I would guess.
There's
Yeah,
a chance
so
that this is like a really excellent game, though. Like,
I know.
won't be surprised either way.
I have half of
Yeah,
mine to just watch that game on
It'll
Sunday.
be excellent.
Yeah,
Who'd have
so
thought? Like, I can't believe people are excited to watch Washington play. Like, what world are we living in right now? It's because Dan Snyder's not there anymore. They finally have a quarterback, and it's pretty much RG3 rookie season all over again.
yeah.
Yeah, they have reason to believe.
All right, let's get through these last couple ones here before we hop out of here. The Steelers and the Raiders. I guess I put it as notable mostly because it's Jace's team playing my team, so I figured we could talk about it for a minute, but
Who are you going with in this game, Jace? You love Fields this week, don't you? Or
yeah.
if it's Russell Wilson, dear God.
If it's Russell Wilson, we lose.
Well, but the issue is like if we both, switching quarterbacks is usually a good thing before anybody plays either one of our teams. So what if we switch quarterbacks both before we play each other? Does it cancel out? Is it like two negatives? And
coin flip.
I think Minshew, or not, Jesus Christ, I'm glad I don't have to say that name anymore. O'Connell actually makes a difference in this game. I think you're looking at two guys. If they go with Fields, our offensive lines are kind of shoddy at the moment. Nobody really has like a very consistent running game. And I think it's going to come down to who can stand back there and find their receivers. And I think we're just going to pester the shit out of Fields just enough to bother him. And I think O'Connell hangs in there. I'm sure Watt probably has like 4 fucking sacks or something. And, basically tries to win the game on his own. But I foresee this one will be like 17-13 Raiders or something.
Yeah.
I was gonna say 16
to
to 13.
let me go
It's gonna be a lot of
find that.
field goals.
Yeah,
Let's see what the over-under actually is.
It'll-
It's 36 and a half.
Yeah.
Take the under.
Well, but we
Yeah.
two offenses that literally somebody could fucking show up and, somebody could score 36 on their own.
Yeah. It is 36 and a half, and the spread is the Steelers with the edge -3. So they're like, yes, you will be kicking field goals all day, and we know that. So
Yeah, they've acknowledged it as Chris Boswell versus Daniel Carlson.
I
Shout out
mean,
to Greg.
I think that should be just what it is. Oh yeah, shout out Greg. Let me just put some breaking news about Greg down at the bottom there. So
Custard.
so no, I think the thing with the Steelers and Raiders this week that we all recognize here is that this is just going to be a defensive battle. I feel like it's just what's going to win the game is probably turnovers, who gets more, and who has better field position in that.
Yeah, whose defense can score a touchdown?
Pretty
offense?
much.
That might determine it.
We both recognize we both have shitty offensive lines. We have great D lines. It's just gonna be a mess. I mean, this is gonna be 3-and-out city, punt city, field goal city. It's
you guys have a good secondary. We have a good secondary.
Yeah.
We're also both because I believe Herbig and Highsmith are both hurt, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they are. Herbig's out for a while.
And Wilkins is hurt for us, so
yeah. So.
It is now essentially Max.
It's almost like we're very similar teams. I've said it for weeks. The Raiders and the Steelers are like the same fucking team. I swear to God.
This is Max Crosby on half an ankle and T.J. Watt.
Yeah.
May the best man win.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that, like I said, O'Connell can, not look at his shoes when he's fucking under pressure and look up and,
If he does, he'll die. So he probably shouldn't do that.
The only reason the shitty thing was the only reason we lost to the Broncos was if you saw the play that Minshew missed Bowers wide open on the goal line for a touchdown that would have made it 17-3. Instead, he throws it directly to fucking Pat Surtain for a 100-yard pick six, and it's 10-10.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you O'Connell makes the throw that Minshew missed. So we'll just go with that being the difference. And fuck you, Carly. Let's go Raiders.
Yeah. We'll see how it is.
What do you actually feel about that game, Carly? Are you confident?
I mean, it literally is going to come down to like a couple plays like that. I mean, I feel like it could very much go either way. Obviously, I think if the Steelers play Justin Fields, I think we have a chance to win. A lot more than we do if we play Russell Wilson, because I can't imagine why he's even still on our team. Trade him. But I guess I'd take the Steelers in that. I mean, it's probably the under on 36.5. I mean, that's just the reality. This isn't going to be a pretty game to watch, unless you like defense, destroying shitty
are the Raiders
offensive lines.
2-3, and you guys are 3-2, right?
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. There's just too many things that make me want to pick the Raiders. Mike Tomlin will make sure he goes 8-8 somehow. So
I'm curious what we do with George Pickens. I'm curious to see how that ends up going
if there's
after
any
this.
Other discipline.
Yeah,
it's
very weird. It's very weird. Nobody's really talking about it, of course, and there just hasn't been much talked about with it. It's very obvious that something is going, like he has some sort of attitude issue, which clearly, I mean, he literally on his face black wrote "always fucking open." across his
I mean,
face
come on,
black.
bro.
And then he literally didn't run any of his routes. Like, what do you
If
mean?
you're gonna write
dude?
that on your face, you better be good. Like, sit the fuck
It's like,
down.
come on, dude. I mean, just it'll be interesting to see what they do with him if he's back in the lineup and playing 80% of snaps like he should. Then I think we'll be okay with him and Justin Fields and
Well,
the rest of
him
the team
and
out there. But
him and Jack Jones probably getting a fight by like the fifth
yeah,
snap.
literally. I mean,
So,
the kid seems like a fucking diva, and it's annoying. It just always
Classic
happens to us.
receiver, I feel.
Yeah, so it depends. I feel like if he's gonna play 80% of snaps and we're over this whole BS and Justin Fields is playing, that I mean I'd take the Steelers on that. But if we're playing Russell Wilson and Pickens is just sitting on the bench for 75% of snaps and not out on the field and running 20 routes throughout the game, like, it's just not going to go well for us. We still have Najee Harris as our only running back who doesn't, I mean, he looks horrible. He's the only thing he can do is break a tackle in an open field. That's literally it. I'm
The big thing to
convinced he
keep in
can't do
mind,
anything
too,
else.
is that the Cowboys defense last week was completely decimated with injuries, and they
Oh
still
yeah.
couldn't move the ball.
Well, the problem is that we weren't passing it because George Pickens wasn't on the fucking field. We weren't doing anything. And anytime he was on the field, he was jogging lightly down the sideline. Nobody was even paying attention to him. So, yeah, their defense was decimated, but all their focus could go on anyone but him because he literally wasn't playing in the game. Like, and that was a disaster of a game for us. And I just hope to see us turn it back around to the trajectory we were on over
well,
the
like
last few
his
games.
conduct was so detrimental. I think you should sit him this week and bench him to really let him think about it.
Yeah.
And think about what he's done. And he
Yeah,
can come
I
back
literally wouldn't
the
put it
week
past
after.
Tomlin. Which is unfortunate, but I wouldn't put it past Tomlin. And it's just like I mean, it's just
You
detrimental to the
probably
team.
won't hear about it until like Sunday morning, and all of a sudden he's just a fucking healthy scratch.
Yep.
But is that a 1
So-
p.m. game, or it's in Las
Yeah.
Vegas? So it's probably a 4
Well, he's
o'clock
gonna
game.
catch fines anyway because he refused to talk to media after the game.
Yeah,
And
you can't do that.
you can't do that. So it's just like, dude, we literally, like, the team actually needs you. Like, can you shut the fuck up and play football? Ugh,
Nope,
it's
he's a
annoying.
wide receiver.
Killer. Absolutely killer when that stuff happens. So I don't know. I mean, if the Steelers kind of regress back to what they were a couple weeks ago, prior to this Dallas game, I think we can win this game. If it looks anything like what we put on the field during that Dallas game, then we don't have any shot. Or if we, for some reason, trot fucking Russell Wilson out there. I just don't believe that is the right thing to do. So we'll see. I go with the Steelers if they actually play like they should be playing. And I think the Raiders easily take it if we play anything like we played last week. So just matter what team comes out on the field. We'll see.
It's definitely one of the hardest games of the week to pick. I
It's
probably won't
tough.
have my mind fully made up until Sunday, honestly.
It is tough. So you're, for now, though, saying the Raiders, I assume?
Just a hunch, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I had, I think, 2 more real quick to go over since we were obviously going to talk about that one for a little bit. Lions and Cowboys. This is a somewhat notable game, I guess. I think the Lions just destroy the Cowboys.
I actually feel like they do just completely boat race them.
I
feel like at a certain point, Dallas is going to show who they actually are. They're not playing the Steelers offense this week. They're playing the Lions offense. Like, I don't think this is going to be competitive. I actually think it's a blowout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Lions just absolutely run the fuck over.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me look at the over-under for that. I'm kind of curious. 52.5. It's a point more than the Ravens and the Commanders this week, actually. Weirdly enough, even like we were just saying that the over-under on that is 52.5 for the Lions and Cowboys, but the spread is 3, -3 to the Lions.
That's because they're on the road and they're just giving the Cowboys way too much respect. I get that the Lions like maybe haven't looked like world beaters this year, but they're gonna hit their stride eventually. I feel this feels like they're coming off a bye. They're fresh. I could just picture
Is
David
TJ
Montgomery.
Hawkinson playing now?
TJ Hawkinson's
He's the Vikings.
Yeah.
Who was it that is coming back for the Lions? There's somebody that it might be on a defense.
Laporta.
There's somebody that, yeah, Laporta. Is he back?
I think he's been back. I think he's just.
I don't think he ever missed a game. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he missed like 2 or 3
I think he's
games.
been kind of like just limited, like he's kind of nursing something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that one, I mean, I think, unless Jace, you have a different opinion, we all probably go Detroit on that.
Yeah, Detroit by. I would take the over in that game because Detroit might score 40 on their own.
Yeah.
And Dak will throw it to CD and anybody else he can find that's open in garbage time to try and make up some ground. So.
Yeah, there isn't really anyone else though. Just double covered Lamb, and then Dak doesn't know where to go. So
yeah,
under in the Raiders Steelers game, over in the Cowboys Lions game. Start your parlay.
Okay, so we have the last game, which is I believe the Monday game. The Bills and the Jets. Division game.
We touched on it earlier a little bit.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit earlier. The Jets are a disaster. I don't know, but the Bills also kind of seem like they're a disaster.
I literally don't care. I was picking the Jets regardless. I think the interim head coach thing, like the stats on
it
them
is real.
The first one is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
And the Bills feel like they're kind of falling apart too.
We'll call it the Jeff Saturday effect.
Yeah. The over under here is 41.
I don't see it being. I honestly would take the under. I think it's gonna be low scoring as hell.
Yeah, right. I agree.
Josh Allen completed 9 passes last week.
Yeah. I went ahead and put him as my QB1 on my rankings, and then he just comes out
not looking great now. Yeah.
Completes 9 passes.
We should have just listened to Jace. He had Flacco up there where he belongs, and Flacco came out there and threw like 3 touchdowns. So
that's right.
Well, I know what I'm talking about. Now I already have a category for Josh Allen. He's going to go right down next to Tua in the might be dead slot.
Yeah. Yeah. Could be dead.
Was that him out there?
Yeah, his brain. Yeah, could be Tom from 50 First Dates. Yeah.
Yeah, he has oatmeal for brains now. Yeah, I think that's it. Is there any other games that you guys wanted to touch on there for the upcoming matchups? We touched on Philly and Cleveland. This should be a pretty easy slam dunk for Philly there, but you hate those. You hate those.
But it's a very large spread. Let's just say I would take the Browns with the points.
Yeah, Philly is favored by 9 points.
They have not blown that team out in I don't know how long. I don't know, man. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles, but yeah, Jesse might be bald from tearing his own hair out of his head when we come live next Wednesday.
Likely. Yeah. I'll have something else on what Sirianni did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the biggest spread of the week. Philly -9.
Me. I mean, that's not a good sign.
No. Yeah, and then you have like games like Houston and New England is Houston -7. But even that is like not as high of a spread as Philly and Cleveland.
I think it has more to do with all of our guys are back healthy this week, and the Browns look horrendous, so that's why the spread's so big. But yeah, I just don't trust the Eagles until I see it. So
yeah, right.
Yeah,
it'll probably be closer than it should be.
If you've got Devonta and Devonta and AJ back, then you should win handily, and I say should.
I know.
Put it next.
Yeah.
But all right, Sirianni, the anchor that he is, we'll see.
Alrighty. Anybody else have anything else that they wanted to talk about before we hop off here? We're sitting at almost exactly an hour and a half. So we're shaving minutes off, and that is including the 5-minute intro we had. So we're shaving some time off. We want to kind of get this down to a reasonable amount of time.
Thoughts and prayers to our guys, Greg. I don't think pornography should discount you from losing a custody battle.
You see, I was thinking you were going to say thoughts and prayers to all the people getting ready to be taken out by the hurricane. You're talking about a fucking spider.
Well,
no. Were you going to let
it
me
was
finish?
copious amounts.
No. that was coming. No, yeah. Everybody that's in the path of the hurricane down there after already getting battered by Helene and now Milton.
And then 50 tornado warnings today. Did you see the map of all, like, the entire end of Florida was just every red, like, they showed every tornado warning, and there was 50 of them today.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I was watching, and there was like 17 of them at one point all together. It's crazy. Wild stuff going on down there. That probably made landfall. I think it was supposed to, like, 8.
Out of the channel, I'm not sure.
It did die out a lot, but it's still nasty.
Yeah, I saw it was a category 3 like 2 hours ago.
I think it was gonna hit as
that was 3, what they predicted, was it was gonna be a 3 by the time it hit land. So
yeah, since it's just the 3 of us, we should have a weather section at the end of this.
Yeah, we could do that. No, it's expected to make landfall around, like, I think 1 a.m. and like.
Oh, last time I was thinking it was like 8.
Like, that's a disaster at coming at 1 a.m. though. Like, people are gonna be, well, not that everyone.
Well, they should be gone.
Not everyone can afford to leave though. Like, some people aren't gonna be able to leave.
Yeah, and I know there was somebody I saw on Twitter that was saying that all the gas in their little town was completely dried up, and they didn't even have gas to go to a station outside of town to even leave.
To make matters worse, all like the fucking airlines jack their tickets. Like, we're talking like $1,500 to get out of there, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, you're seriously taking advantage of people this way. So like you can stay, maybe die. It should be fucking illegal, but here we are.
Yep.
Fuck you, Ron DeSantis, but
yeah, fuck that guy. All right, well, good talking to you guys today. I think we just ticked over the hour 30-minute mark. It's kind of where we want it to be at. Like to get it down to an hour, but I think this is a good, we're not sitting here for 3 hours talking about stuff. We don't have to hit every game. Nobody cares about us talking about, like, Houston and the Patriots. So, yeah, I think that's it for this week, and we will get back to it next week. I think next week maybe we'll redo some of our rankings, at least our team rankings. Maybe we'll redo them and take another peek at those, see how they've changed, and yeah, we'll get back to it. We'll probably just do the same format next week. I think it all went smoothly. Everything seems to have gone smoothly on YouTube. So, good to go. Alrighty, y'all. We will see you next week.
Thank you for watching, and rage on.